in South Carolina on a river named the Combahee. If you've never heard about it, they didn't teach you that in school, that's just wrong. But don't worry, truth be told, it's going to make it all right. It was June of 1863. Harriet Tubman had a conversation with the then governor of Massachusetts, Governor Andrew. He asked her to go to Port Royal, South Carolina, in support of the United States colored troops, who by then, because of the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863, which was signed and set forth on January 1st, had flooded the ranks of the Union Army, and some of whom had already seen combat, who were now injured, wounded, and some had even given their lives, the ultimate sacrifice, in service to their country. She goes to Port Royal, South Carolina. She agrees with Governor Andrew, and she volunteers as a laundress and a nurse. She's working alongside of the United States Sanitary Commission, which is the predecessor to the American Red Cross. She's also making a little money on the side by making cakes and pies and selling them to soldiers, because she never had a lot of money, but she made a little bit everywhere she could. While she is in Port Royal, which, by the way, is one of the only Union strongholds in the South, she starts to mix and mingle and become acquainted with the local freed and enslaved persons. She starts to get information about Confederate stores, Confederate arms, foodstuffs. She finds out quite quickly that a little ways up the Combahee River is what I would characterize as a Confederate piggy bank, where wealth would be stored so that it could be liquidated for money, because in order to prosecute any war, you need money. So she begins to work a network of scouts, spies, to elicit more information about this location along the Combahee River. She finds out not only that there are valuable crops and there are warehouses and mills, but that the river itself has been mined. That piece of information makes it unequivocally valuable information, because you're only going to mine or booby trap a location that you see value in. So now they are sure that there's something to this story about all of the value that is just a little ways up the Combahee River at a place called the Combahee Ferry. As she elicits more information, she begins to engage with Colonel Montgomery. Colonel Montgomery is the commander of the 2nd South Carolina Volunteers. It is all black regiment of the Union Army, United States colored troops. Colonel Montgomery is white. And she's talking with him and she's letting him know all this information that she's finding out. And finally she gets enough information so that they decide that this is, in fact, a prime target, a prime opportunity to make a significant victory for the Union Army and for the cause of victory. So, on June 2nd, 1863, and it was actually June 1st, late at night, they leave St. Helena Sound, headed up the Combahee River in 3 gunboats, the Sentinel, the John Adams, and a boat called the Harriet Weed. 300 United States colored troops from the 2nd South Carolina Volunteers, 50 artillerymen from the Rhode Island Infantry, and her 8 scouts. They loaded the boats. Harriet is on the boat named the John Adams with 150 United States colored troops from the 2nd South Carolina. They go up the river flawlessly. They avoid all the mines, all the traps, all the torpedoes, all the booby traps. They had sent word ahead so that the enslaved persons in the area knew that the Union Army was coming, that liberty was coming, that a chance to be freed from their enslavers was coming. When they got up to the Combahee ferry, what they found hiding by the riverside, 700 plus enslaved persons waiting for liberty. These people had brought everything that they could carry that was valuable to them. Squealing pigs, chickens, and coops, and boxes, and bales, and rice, and bowls, and foodstuffs. But first, there was a mission. There was a mission, and the mission was destroy the farms, destroy the fields, the plantations, the mills, the warehouses, the mansions. They struck gold, and they torched and burned everything that they could, and then freed 700 plus enslaved persons. So you can imagine the scene. When the enslaved persons saw the Union gunboats come up the river, they plunged into the river headlong, everyone clamoring and clasping to get onto the boats that had come out from the gunships, wanting to be free. It was a melee, it was a mess. And you can imagine that a boat or two or three could be swamped by people pulling on one side of it. And so there was a need for a sense of calm to come over this great horde of people. Now, in the region where they were, the dialect was Gullah-Geechee. No one spoke that dialect. Harriet didn't speak it, nor did any of the soldiers that were with her. So she couldn't communicate with them to let them know to be calm and that everyone would be rescued. So in fact, she stood up at the urging of Colonel Montgomery, who'd asked her to calm her people. She stood up and she began to sing. And a calm came over this great mass of people, so much that everyone was able to be brought onto the boats, onto the gunships, and freed. 700 plus enslaved persons freed in this mission, and 10, 20, maybe 30 mansions, plantations, fields, farms, warehouses, mills burned and destroyed. Harriet Tubman struck a blow deep, deep in the heart of the Confederacy with the Combahee River Raid on June 2nd. When it was all over with, when it was all said and done, she didn't get any credit. The newspapers reported how Colonel Montgomery had led this force and struck a blow into the heart of Dixie, and they never mentioned Harriet at all. Until a man named Barber of a newspaper in Boston, he wrote an article and he talked about Harriet Tubman, and he mentioned her name, and he let everyone know the great part that she had had in this whole mission. And so even though she didn't get to do that she deserved in that day, on this day we give her her due. Harriet Tubman, a little woman who was a giant in her time. Harriet Tubman, who served her country, who served her people. Harriet Tubman, who in spite of all the challenges and all the difficulties that she faced, she still rose to every occasion and struck a blow, in this case, in the heart of the Confederacy. That is one of the many beginnings of the end of the Civil War. The Combahee River Raid, June 2nd, 1863. Never forget it. Always celebrate it. The truth of the matter is, no matter where you go, no matter where you look, you can find Black history anywhere, because our history is everywhere. All right, see you again soon, my friends.
If you would like to see more videos like this, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification icon to receive our new releases. If you would like to assist Truth Be Told in our mission to preserve African American history, which is American history, please share this video with your children, family, and friends. Truth Be Told, you can find Black history anywhere because our history is everywhere.